We view scorpions and tarantulas as the ultimate predatory monsters, creatures that exist only to lurk in the shadows and strike. In reality, arachnids serve as a massive food source for their environment. They spend the vast majority of their lives being hunted by birds, reptiles, and larger insects. Their existence is a relentless, claustrophobic struggle. Survival requires a state of constant hyper-vigilant defense, where every vibration in the soil could signal a predator closing in. To understand these animals, we have to look past the fangs and see their lives for what they actually are, a violent life cycle gauntlet that begins the moment they hatch. On day one, an arachnid is small, weak, and entirely lacking the hard shell it will eventually rely on for protection. For some, the first threat is their own siblings. Goliath bird-eaters hatch by the hundreds into a damp burrow, and the largest individuals immediately begin cannibalizing the smaller ones to secure their first meal. Others face immediate predation from the outside. Scorpions cling to their mother's back for safety, but they are easily picked off. A single bird strike can knock half a dozen infants into the dirt, where they are consumed before they can even move. Infancy is an evolutionary lottery. Most offspring are eliminated by the environment or their own kin before their exoskeletons have even hardened. This diagram shows the rigid outer layer of an arachnid limb. Because this shell cannot stretch, it becomes a prison, constricting the growing tissue until internal pressure forces a rupture. To grow, the animal must physically split its armor and pull its soft body free. After molting, creatures like the sea spider or pelican spider are left soft and immobile. For several hours, they cannot fight or run, leaving them completely at the mercy of anything that finds them. In the arachnid world, growth requires a total surrender of defense. To become larger, you must first become completely helpless. Reaching adulthood merely changes the scale of the threats. Survivors must now rely on hyper-specialized biological weaponry just to stay in the game. The pelican spider has evolved elongated, spear-like jaws. These allow it to impale other venomous spiders from a distance, keeping the prey's fangs safely away from its own body. The whip scorpion uses chemical deterrents, spraying a searing, concentrated acid from its tail to blind vertebrate predators like coatis. In the desert, the whip scorpion relies on a hyperactive metabolism to reach extreme speeds, outrunning predators across the burning sand. Yet even these adaptations fail. A parasitoid wasp can land and lay eggs in a spider's abdomen in a fraction of a second. Or a swarm of army ants can simply engulf a burrow, rendering individual defenses useless through sheer numbers. Adulthood is a precarious arms race, where the gap between being a predator and being a meal can disappear in a single second. The biological drive to reproduce eventually forces these solitary, defensive animals to seek each other out. For a male wind scorpion or Goliath bird-eater, this requires approaching a female that is significantly larger and instinctively aggressive. The moment sperm transfer is complete, the female's mating behavior often switches back to hunting. The male must sprint away instantly, or he will be cannibalized by the very partner he fought to find. For an arachnid, the act of continuing the species requires risking the very life they have spent years defending. There is no peaceful end in the wild. As soon as an arachnid's speed or coordination begins to fail, the environment reclaims them. An aging Goliath bird-eater's legs will eventually lose their grip. When army ants flood its burrow, the spider can no longer climb to safety and is simply dismantled alive in its own home. The tick may survive for months to lay 2,000 eggs, only to be blindly swallowed by a foraging turkey. In 1 second, the animal and its entire genetic legacy are crushed and digested. Every adaptation, from the scorpion's sting to the spider's silk, is a specialized tool for navigating a world where the odds are permanently stacked against the individual. Nature does not prioritize the safety or longevity of these creatures. It only requires that they endure the nightmare just long enough to pass it on to the next generation.